Good evening. I'm Mayor Tim Balderman of the Village of New Lenox, and I'm standing with some of the finest police officers in the state of Illinois. As the police chief will tell you shortly, there was an incident a few months back involving a carjacking and attempted carjacking of residents in our community. New Lenox is a very safe community and it is patrolled by, again, some of the very finest police officers in the entire state. Their work on this case is evidence of just how tremendous they are and how well protected our community is. With very little information to go on, our detectives, with the hard work of the officers that first arrived on the scene, were able to determine who committed these crimes and work with the State's Attorney's Office to have charges filed. I'm here not only to say thank you to our police officers. From the top down, we have a tremendous police department. To assure our police community here in New Lenox that our police department is second to none and that you are safe and well protected. They never give up on any case. And third, to say to those of you who wonder why this is happening here in New Lenox and in the surrounding communities, I can tell you, having served as a police officer in Cook County for 22 years, that when you hear about the charges that are filed against these individuals, you will see that we're fighting a very, very difficult battle out here in Will County and in the collar counties. The subjects that are being charged here today, the 3 adults, are under the age of 28 years old. I have a 27-year-old and I believe a 21 and a 22-year-old. Just to give you a little idea of their history, one of these offenders has 16 prior arrests with 14 convictions. One has 5 arrests with 3 convictions. And one has 6 arrests and 10 total convictions. And again, these 3 adult offenders are in their 20s. These arrests and convictions are for not only stolen vehicle offenses, but weapons offenses, privacy violation offenses, robberies, burglaries, for violent crimes, for violent personal crimes. And they took place in Cook County. Now, some of you may say that these offenders never had a chance when they were younger, and that very well may be true. Despite the hard work of a lot of teachers in the Chicago public school system and in the Cook County's suburban school system, the politics of that system fails its students on a regular basis. There's no question. But that's not something that we can deal with here. That is something that at the state level and at the city level and at the county level, they continue to fail on. The truth is that these people that we're talking about are criminals. Regardless of how they got there, they are hardened, violent criminals. And the fact that our police officers in Cook County and individual assistant state's attorneys work hard to try and put these people behind bars. The judicial system and the leadership out of the state's attorney's office fails all of us regularly. And quite often, especially out here in Will County, we are left to pick up that mess. We had 6 victims in this particular case. 2 adults and 4 children under the age of 5. Those children and those adults were confronted by hardened criminals with guns. Their lives were in jeopardy because the criminal justice system in Cook County fails all of us on a regular basis. I can only say that I am eternally grateful that the police officers in New Lenox and those here out in Will County work hard to try and put these criminals away. And I have full confidence in the Will County State's Attorney's Office that the proper punishment will be placed on these hardened offenders. So again, to the residents of New Lenox, to our business owners, know that you are well protected by an outstanding police force. Chief, to you, your officers, and your detectives, thank you for keeping all of us safe and working so hard to get these criminals and put them behind bars. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start by identifying the individuals that are here with me today. Detective Brandon Tilton, Detective Andrew Johnston, Detective Sergeant Tim Perry. On March 10th at approximately 8:15 a.m., an armed carjacking occurred in a neighborhood on the north side of our town. The victim was getting their 2 children out of their GMC Denali in the driveway of a home daycare when 6 male individuals approached them. One of the offenders pointed a gun at the victim and demanded keys to the Denali. The victim managed to get the children out of the SUV as another vehicle with 2 small children inside was pulling into the driveway. One of the 6 offenders, a second gunman, turned his attention to this car and attempted to carjack that vehicle as well. The driver of this car, our second victim, in a panic threw her car into reverse and began backing out of the driveway. They subsequently smashed into a brick mailbox, but managed to successfully escape from the area. All 6 of the offenders then entered our first victim's GMC Denali and fled the scene. Approximately 20 minutes later, the stolen Denali was abandoned in a church parking lot in Markham, Illinois. All 6 offenders were observed exiting the SUV on video. The Denali was recovered and processed for evidence. This carjacking in New Lenox was a crime of opportunity for these offenders. They had stolen several high-end cars from multiple dealerships the night before. Prior to the carjacking in New Lenox, these same offenders were driving these stolen cars eastbound on I-80 when Grundy County sheriffs attempt to stop them using spike strips. All of the vehicles except for one were disabled, and the drivers all fled from the stolen cars on foot. They then all got into the one remaining operable stolen car, which was a BMW. The BMW then continued eastbound on I-80 until it lost one of its wheels. The BMW was abandoned in a ditch along I-80, and the offenders all ran into a New Lenox neighborhood where they committed the carjacking. If not for the BMW becoming disabled on I-80, these offenders would not have been in New Lenox that morning. The last 4 months, the men and women of the New Lenox Police Department have continued working on this case. Countless hours were spent recovering evidence, conducting interviews, collaborating with other police departments, preparing search warrants and subpoenas, and working with the Will County State's Attorney's Office. Today, I am proud to say that we have 4 of these individuals identified and have obtained arrest warrants for 3 of them on numerous felony charges. 2 of these 4 offenders are currently incarcerated. One is in the custody of the Illinois Department of Corrections on unrelated charges, and the other is in the custody of the Cook County Department of Corrections, also on unrelated charges. One of the 6 offenders that committed the carjacking is a juvenile. We have this juvenile identified and are working with the Will County Juvenile State's Attorneys to approve charges against him. We cannot share any other information on the juvenile at this time. Our investigators are continuing to work on this case and the identification of the remaining 2 offenders. Based on all the evidence we have obtained and from the information gathered from other police departments, we know that these individuals are responsible for multiple car dealership burglaries in Schaumburg, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, Lincoln, Illinois, Bloomington, Illinois, Peoria, Illinois, and Manchester, Missouri. These offenders have stolen several hundreds of thousands of dollars in high-end vehicles from these dealerships, and additional charges against them may be coming from those agencies as well. The individuals charged are 22-year-old Elijah R. Castle of Chicago Heights. Castle was the offender that pointed the gun at the victim driving the Denali. 27-year-old Devontae M. Davis of Chicago. And 21-year-old Narquise A. Thomas, also of Chicago. Bond for the warrants obtained on these three offenders was set at $750,000 each. I wanted to take this opportunity to inform the community on the status of this case, and I'm grateful that nobody was physically injured during this incident. I'd like to personally thank all the brave men and women of our department who not only have worked hard and will continue to work hard to bring this case to its full conclusion, but to those that go out there every day and do an outstanding job of protecting our community. Thank you to the New Lenox residents who contacted us with information, and to those that shared footage from their home security systems as well. Thank you to all the police departments that assisted us in this investigation, and a special thanks to the Will County State's Attorney's Office for their assistance. Thank you.